Thanks for joining us on this edition of National Focus. I'm Mervin. Coming up, the Government of Dominica works towards national energy efficiency. Dominica receives a new Cuban ambassador, and the MV Royal Princess makes its first call to Dominica. Stay tuned for details of these and other stories after this.
A lot of bathtubs are blamed for bruises. Some staircases are accused of being responsible for broken bones. Doors are occasionally viewed suspiciously as causing lesions. A high percentage of tables are accused of producing bleeding or trauma. Violence against women is a crime, and it's everyone's responsibility. It's inexcusable. If you're a victim or witness of physical or psychological violence or abuse, seek help and denounce the perpetrator.
Thank you for staying with us. On Thursday, the President of Dominica, His Excellency Charles Savra, welcomed Cuba's new ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Juan Carlos Formita de la Rosa. The new ambassador is replacing Ambassador Juana Elena Ramos Rodriguez, whose stint ended earlier this month. He noted Cuba's strides in education, healthcare, and culture.
Thousands of Cuban professionals have taken healthcare and education to hundreds of countries, thus helping to preserve the fundamental right to life. We will always thank the friendly support and solidarity of the people and Government of Dominica, to whom we feel deeply committed. Also, Cuba ratified its will to reinforce the links that join both countries.
His Excellency Charles Savra, in receiving the ambassador's credentials, noted how Dominica has benefited from Cuba's many achievements.
The Cuban government has, over the years, provided training to a number for medical, dental, and other professionals who now use their skills acquired to provide valuable service to their home country. Cuba continues to provide our health sector with the services of several medical specialists in diverse fields, namely oncology, radiology, internal medicine, and optometry. We have seen in the year 2013, 10 of these medical collaborators providing daily services at the hospitals in Roseau and Portsmouth and in a number of our health districts. Over 1,000 Dominicans have received eye treatment for conditions such as cataracts and glaucoma under the Cuban Miracle Eye Care program, and several hundred of them have traveled to Cuba to undergo surgery and further treatment at little or no cost to the patients or to the Government of Dominica.
His Excellency Savra also highlighted Cuba's assistance to Dominica in education through scholarships. President Savra added that Cuba can continue to count on Dominica's support in international matters, particularly the lifting of the 55-year-old U.S. embargo against Cuba.
Dominica is committed to the regional and international condemnation of the 55-year-old U.S. embargo on Cuba and call on the United States once more to heed the call of the General Assembly to lift the embargo against Cuba and to support the full integration of the Cuban people into the global financial and trading systems. We also call for the removal of Cuba from the list of countries that sponsor terrorism and for focusing the attention of the international community on the real threats to global peace and security, such as disease, hunger, and terrorism.
His Excellency Savra also praised Cuba's response to the outbreak of the Ebola virus in West Africa. Both His Excellency Savra and His Excellency Formita de la Rosa expressed gratitude and hope for continued strengthening of the relationship that exists between Cuba and Dominica. Dominica and Cuba have shared 18 years of diplomatic relations. The National Youth Council of Dominica is making positive strides in its development. NYCD President Josiah Benoit informed GIS in an interview on Wednesday of the Council's recent achievements and plans moving forward. First on Benoit's list was the move of the council's headquarters to a more ideal location.
We have achieved again that strategic objective of expanding, our office space to make it more functional, so we can facilitate conferences, administrative work, etc. at the office. Before, it was really unconducive to holding even a simple group meeting. And so this is a significant achievement. We have already moved in, but we will have an official opening and launching of our new office sometime in December.
Benoit also informed that the council's media team will be expanding its reach to 2 more television stations.
We expect that we'll be debuting 2 additional television shows, weekly television shows, in the coming months. That will be the Youth Pulse and Youth Doc, so the public can look out for that. They've been enjoying youth camera action so far, so we want to expand the reach of our programs across all media stations.
Youth Pulse will be aired on Digicel Play and Youth Doc will be featured on GIS. According to the NYCD president, a reformation of meeting structure to improve efficiency of planning is also on the cards for the council.
That will be the quarterly youth caucus. So in December, we'll have the first hosting of the quarterly youth caucus, which is a forum for ongoing dialogue within the management structure of the NYC, so that we can review where we've gone over the past quarter and plan for activities to take place in the next quarter. So it's an exciting time for the NYC, and we're always going to keep our eyes on the ball. We are by no means satisfied with what we have done so far, but we're just going to keep working hard to ensure that we can empower as many young Dominicans as possible.
The Government of Dominica has been forward-thinking in its quest to use energy efficiently. Speaking at the 12th annual conference of the Organization of Caribbean Utility Regulators on Wednesday, Project Manager of the Geothermal Project Management Unit, Alexis George, spoke of some of the government's accomplishments in renewable energy. The project manager was speaking on behalf of the Honorable Minister for Energy, Reuben Blackmore.
10 years ago, we started a solar streetlight initiative. This is significant not only as being of renewable means, but also a significant contributor to energy efficiency. And for us in Dominica, streetlights accounts for 2% of generated power. Since then, we have gone on to invest further in additional solar streetlight installation, as well as initiating the use of LED streetlights, which are far more efficient than the conventional streetlights. At the same time, government continues to maintain vigorous renewable energy and energy efficiency development programs with friendly governments. Over the next 3 years, we shall be installing 2,500 LED street lights throughout the country. This is being done with the support and cooperation of the government of the People's Republic of China. The installation of these street lights has already begun. Through government's initiative, the local utility, Domlec, is now actively supplying and installing LED street lights as the preferred choice.
He also spoke of the progress of the geothermal project.
It would be remiss of me not to mention our breakthrough achievement, which is the geothermal development in this country. Government, with the support of friendly countries and development agencies such as the French, the AFD, the World Bank, the EU, UNDP, we are well on our way to establishing a model geothermal development for the Caribbean. In so doing, we are setting up the laboratory environment for geothermal energy, where we will share lessons learned, experiences, and information of the Caribbean states and global seeds partners, and for our global seeds partners. The geothermal energy development program has, among other things, resulted in the following: formation of a cabinet policy subcommittee for geothermal energy, investment cost to date of more than 55 million EC dollars, resource area assessed at 15 kilometers squared, 3 test wells which was drilled between December 2011 and June 2012, 1 reinjection well completed in December 2013, 1 production well completed in March of 2014, with an initial production capacity of more than 10 megawatts.
He says Dominica is moving towards national renewable power generation through investments in renewable energy, power stations, grids improvement and expansion, and the standalone grid-connected systems. The government is also implementing initiatives for the introduction of an energy-efficient standards for appliances and buildings. The conference, which will end on November 21st, has convened several regulatory bodies of the region under the theme Regulating Utilities in a Changing Environment. The MV Royal Princess of Princess Cruises made its first call to Dominica on Thursday to a musical welcome at the Woodbridge Bay port. This ship will make a total of 7 calls this season, bringing 4,600 passengers and close to 1,400 crew members on each trip. To welcome the ship to Dominica, several organizations were represented aboard, including the Ministry of Tourism, the Discover Dominica Authority, the Dominica Air and Seaport Authority, the Mayor of Rosa, Her Worship Irene John, the ship's agent, HHV Witchage and Company Limited, the Dominica Taxi Association, and vendors. Stevenson Hyacinth is the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism.
We are happy that your passengers can experience a lifetime experience. They can in fact go out there and enjoy our scenic and natural sites, and obviously we hope that the responses that they come back to you with will be such a positive ones that you will in fact make a normal spot, a spot of interest, a spot that you would really want to be at as often as possible. We in the Ministry of Tourism, we are prepared to work on any areas of development, any areas that you may, your passengers may think that we need to develop. We are prepared to do this as long as we get positive feedback from you. We will move quickly and swiftly to develop those areas.
He assured that Dominica welcomes passenger reviews while it works to exceed expectations. The ship was received at the Woodbridge Bay port due to its size. Chief Executive Officer of Dominica Air and Seaport Authority, Bino Abadil, underlined government's plans to modify the Rosicrucian berth to allow larger ships like the Royal Princess. He says the design phase is underway. Naturally, the hope is that the 7 calls this season will be increased by the next, securing Dominica as the go-to destination on the itinerary.
We've had several years to benefit from calls from the Princess Cruises. We have a relationship with them for several years, and we're happy to welcome on board our new ship, the Royal Princess, to Dominica. We are pleased that you have 7 calls with us this season, and hopefully that number will be doubled in the future. Dominica is the nature island of the Caribbean, as you may have known by now. We have several activities that you can engage in, as well as your crew, and we know that your passengers are doing that as we speak. Several rivers, several waterfalls, hot spas, warm and friendly places, as you can see from the faces out there. So we would really like for you to make some time today to just sample some of Dominica's product, what it offers, and if not today, on one of the 7th call that you're making.
The captain of the Royal Princess, John Draper, accepted the welcome with thanks and optimism.
Welcome onto the Royal Princess. It's certainly a pleasure bringing the Royal Princess to Dominica today. I've been visiting the island for many years, and I was lucky enough about 15 years ago to go beyond just the port and the town and actually take the drive across to the airport, and it really showed me what a beautiful landscape you have here, very dramatic. And of course the rain doesn't matter here, because at least the guests can't complain about rain on the rainforest tour, which is always very nice. So that they love to see the beautiful countryside you've got here beyond just the shops. We'll be coming throughout the season. We're a regular caller. We've got 2 different cruises, and hence the sort of 2 weeks between our calls. But we'll be bringing at times between 3,500 and maybe up to 4,200 guests, just passengers on each call. So it's a lot coming into the local economy, hopefully. And on top of that, of course, 1,350 crew members on board to enjoy their time here on the island. So it's an honour to bring the Royal Princess, one of our newest ships in the fleet, to Dominica. And I look forward to the constructive criticism, perhaps, that we have sometimes about the berthing and the opportunities down at Roseau, and look forward to the inward investment to attract us down there with the safe berthing and gangways for our passengers.
As is customary, tokens were exchanged to memorialize the MV Royal Princess's first call to Dominica. This is the 2nd of 8 inaugural calls expected this cruise season. 25 years ago today, the world made a promise to do everything in its power to protect and promote the rights of children around the globe, especially victims of abuse in the forms of violence, exploitation, and discrimination. On World Children's Day, nations acknowledge children's rights to survive and thrive, to learn and to grow, to make their voices heard, and to reach their full potential. Children from 7 preschools in the Roseau North District played their part in the commemoration of this Universal Day of celebration. They braved the rain on Thursday morning in a march from Lindo Park to the Pentecostal Church playground under the theme Stop Violence Against Children. Addressing the nation on the advocacy for child abuse prevention, the Honorable Minister for Social Services, Gloria Shillingford, had this to say.
Child abuse is a worldwide phenomenon whose impact is enormous, shadowing the lives and hindering the healthy development of millions of children across the globe. And as such, it requires partnerships, solidarity, and building of alliances. On this day, set aside to observe the rights of children, I therefore call upon the leaders of all sectors of society, churches, schools, communities, and families to denounce every practice which is aimed at harming our children and to encourage proper treatment of children among your members. It is the duty of every adult to protect the children, the future generation. Let us all therefore make it our responsibility and our duty to love, nurture, and protect the children entrusted to our care.
She made a special appeal to all parents and guardians to adhere to Psalm 127:3. Children are a gift from the Lord, they are a blessing.
Parents, I appeal to you to stop condoning and abetting the abuse of your children for personal gain. Poverty is not a crime, neither is it a sin before God. But child violence is both a sin and a crime, which you should not have to carry on your conscience. I call upon those of you who are guilty in this regard to examine your heart and conscience and see whether you are doing for your children what God has called you to do.
The Government of Dominica, through the Social Welfare Division of the Ministry of Social Services, Community Development and Gender Affairs, continues to strive for protection of the rights of children across the nation. November 20 marks the day on which the United Nations General Assembly adopted the Declaration of the Rights of the Child in 1959 and the Convention of the Rights of the Child in 1989. Meantime, students of the Convent High School celebrated their own Mariage Emmanuel, who was awarded 3rd place in the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association's 2014 Children Essay Contest for an essay entitled Why It Is Important That Cruise Ships Come to My Destination. Samantha Later, representing the Ministry of Tourism, encouraged students to show greater interest in competitions such as these.
I want to encourage you, the students, those in the Communications Club and other students who are interested in writing, and more so ever those who are even interested in tourism, to start to show interest. It is a good opportunity for you because you get to win a cash prize along with the school. I wouldn't say what the cash prize is, but it's also something that gives you that push, that added energy to maybe decide what you want to do later in life.
Emmanuel's essay placed 3rd among 7 entries in the region. Here's a short insert of that speech.
One may think, I see so many cruise ships come to our shores, but I doubt they do anything to help Dominica. If you are one of these persons, I hope to prove you wrong by reading this essay. Cruise tourism is often cited as the fastest growing segment of the leisure tourism sector. Using reference from Research Center for Coastal Tourism, cruise tourism is a luxurious form of traveling involving an all-inclusive holiday on a cruise ship of at least 48 hours, according to a specific itinerary in which the cruise ship calls at several ports or cities. It is, therefore, vital for cruise ships to come to Dominica as the country derives economic benefits, there's an improvement in infrastructure, as well as creation of employment in various sectors. The goal is ultimately for the tourists to return and stay over. In order to increase the chance of this happening, Dominica has to undergo positive changes, such as enhancing the cruise ship berths and augmenting the quality of our road network. Although the improvements are targeted towards the tourists, they benefit the locals at the same time.
The young achiever was presented with a $1,000 check by the Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism and Legal Affairs, Stevenson Hyacinth. A check was also presented to the principal of the Convent High School. Noting the school's success, Hyacinth encouraged all students to strive for excellence.
Excellence pays. Excellence pays. And all of us must strive for excellence. Because it's through excellence we can in fact climb the ladder of life. And why are you coming to school? You're coming to school to learn so that when you leave school, you can obtain a very good job and you can support your parents and make a meaningful contribution to the development of your country. So it's important that you strive for excellence. And this is what Maria has shown you this morning. And that's why we're here to issue her a check so that you can emulate her performance. And in all areas of your development, you do the same.
Product Promotion Manager Kathleen Coffey John Jones gave closing remarks at Wednesday's ceremony.
Many of you may not be interested in the tourism sector as a career. However, it doesn't matter. We want for you to participate. You see that Miss Emmanuel, how well she's done. So we want to encourage you students to continue to participate in that area because it brings awareness to you. I'm sure some of the things that Miss Emmanuel learned about tourism, she may not have learned about it if this competition was not put on. So just for awareness purposes and for you to develop your own creativity, we encourage you to participate in this essay. Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, tell persons who you know that who are even not from the Convent High School to participate because it's good for us in Dominica. The other Caribbean islands are doing very well over the years. We were a little disappointed about the numbers we had this year with 7 entries. So we're hoping that the next year, because it's an annual event, that we'll have at least 7 entries from the Convent High School. So I want to thank you. I want to thank Ms. Emmanuel and congratulate you on a job well done and the Convent High School for assisting and encouraging the students to participate.
The FCCA has held essay competitions for over 15 years. And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce comes up next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non moins, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, développement projet pour en place en Coptol. Parole c'est la sortie en membre Parlement Rose Valley, Honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre.
Coptol c'est un bon place tout. Coptol c'est un bon place. Comme c'est la première place où on va aller côté un docteur, mon prospect, puis votre Mervin. Ces gens-là, ils ont là. Tout ça, ils ont besoin actuellement. Nous mettons l'eau là-bas, parce qu'avant qui passe, ils n'ont pas tenu l'eau. Ça, c'est un lot estate, pour Eugenia Charles Papa, et bien, M. Emmanuel Guy, et bien, ils ont séparé, ils ont gars, ils n'ont pas mis chimé, ils n'ont pas tenu l'eau. Nous faisons l'eau, même l'eau ça qui a sorti, hot live yet blanc, même l'eau qui a bon, chauffeur, même l'eau qui a bon, kaiché, qui a chauffeur. Nous faisons descendre à Coptol, et bien, ils ont tapé l'eau ça, et bien, bien net, ce bail ça, bien pour eux. So moun hodam Coptol moi mais yo pas pour le monde qui a bêté ou comme si yo besoin de bail là because you know that ça fait yo ça nous fait pour faire chimère ba yo primaire because là petit tombé quand yo logo là il a damagé chimère so faire chimère ba yo travailler puis yo et puis ça fait pour l'école tout ces bail ça you know and work travailler puis yo so moi bien content pour Coptol aussi.
En d'autres nouvelles, National Youth Council Dominica a travaillé à un incubator qui mette attention à l'agriculture livestock. Si le président NYC, Jaisaya Benoît, projet ça qui conduit à de manière génération l'argent de la jeunesse. Benoît fait parole qui attention qui mette à la production levé cabrit et puis la pain. Benoît aussi a fait parole qui NYC ni responsabilité pour jeunesse pays là et puis projet ça qui crée employment ba yo. Il aussi fait parole que NYC déjà une discussion et puis l'occasion Central Livestock pour traîner ces jeunes là. This jeunes hold a summit, ça c'est Woodford Hill, déjà qu'à travail levé cabrit et puis ça qu'a expecté pour servir comme guide pour d'autres jeunes pays là à point. National Youth Council a gardé 4 mois encore pour commencer le projet là. Une autre nouvelle organisation qui a grotto en Wozo qui remercie le public là pour l'assistance qu'il a reçu. Parole ça la sortie horde président organisation la Innsworth Irish.
Public là ka wede nous voulons plus. Nous ni pour dire merci pour Domlek a ban nous electricity 10,000 tous les pour Nanila. Ever nous ka taper assistance on social security, lime ka ban nous habiter. Mais nous voulons plus monde venir pour bas because là on est 4-5 monde là pour bas 3,000 tous les jours. even nous soup kitchen ou l'autre 50 quand vini là. Ici l'eau l'argent l'eau bite nous ni pour bite. So si moun ka vini mettez contribution ici, ça que wede nous l'eau. So nous ka di nous ni pour remercier moun qui ka wede nous, mais nous ka di nous vivre plus parce que tout bite cher à présent, et bien si vous ka taper moun pour ba cash and kind, ça que wede nous pour nous sauver.
Finalement, chairman pour l'organisation au cœur, ça c'est l'organisation Kawayib, qui a une responsabilité pour régulation utility, ça c'est les affaires d'Omlek et les affaires de Wasco de l'eau comme ça, John Avery. Il a fait parole qui, malgré l'organisation là, une challenge, il a mis mise en place pour aller devant. Avery fait parole ça là pendant la conférence 3 jours, l'organisation là, qui a en Dominique semaine ça. Monsieur Avery fait parole en cérémonie pour te ouvrir la conférence là hier. Il dit qu'il y a travail bien pour nous, plus pouvoir en Kawayib. Monsieur Avery a ses participants pour considérer tout le bagage qui discuté en conférence là. Conférence là qui a participé Independent Regulatory Commission, IRC, organisation qui a une responsabilité pour la régulation électricité en Dominique. Discussion qu'a assez énergie renouvelable, challenge secteur électricité, bon standard sécurité secteur là, et puis ça fait supply de l'eau en parmi d'autres. Messieurs et mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Dominica is blessed with an abundance of water, but getting it to your home is an expensive venture. You have a responsibility to conserve water, to use it wisely. Remember the old adage, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. Think water, think life.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Mervin. Thanks for watching.